Hey everyone, welcome back to the Shivering Mouse. I'm so excited to have you here today. You may have noticed that I've kind of shifted over a little to get kind of a different angle on this particular video. It's because right at this time of day, I'll have to make a note even though it's always changing. The sun is coming in right through my regular set, and with my red cloth backdrop, it looks as though I'm in the constant glow of like the flames of Mordor over here. I guess I should have done a villain's lair today instead. I just want to start off with an apology. I know I haven't updated a ton this week. I've been kind of slow to get everything going. I have had like the flu this week. I've been super exhausted. My throat is still a little raspy, so if you see me kind of take a drink part of the way through, I know to some people that is like nails on a chalkboard. It's going to drive you absolutely nuts. I apologize, so if you do have to skip this one because of slurping sounds, I understand, but I just want to keep my voice going, so I have made myself a cup of handy dandy tea in my owl mug here, and I'm just going to try and get through this because I just wouldn't feel comfortable not updating at least twice a week. It just feels lazy. So I am going to go ahead and kind of power through this one, and I just wanted you to bear with me if I do have to take a drink. Like I said, I know some people that just drives you crazy. I've seen other people's pages when somebody takes a drink of their coffee and then they just light right up that comment section on how awful it is. So my apologies in advance if I do have to. In advance. There's no D in advance. My apologies if I do end up having to take a drink. It should be a pretty short video though. We're going to talk about the Maharajah Jungle Trek, and since it is self-guided, there's really not a lot as far as like summarizing a story. Since it is in Asia, in the animal kingdom, you are in the fictional Asian village of Anandapur, and basically what happens is you're hiking along a trail that is formerly the hunting grounds of the Maharajah of Anandapur. And so the Anandapur royal family had this huge, vast acreage of kind of jungle land that they developed into a wildlife preserve rather than keep it as a hunting grounds for the royal family. So that's kind of a neat story, but again, like most of the stories of the animal kingdom, they don't just like put it right in front of you. I mean, it's not like Splash Mountain where they're like, bammo, here's the story. No imagination required. Well, this one's not really like that. This one's more like Chester and Hester's, where you have to go digging for the story if you want to find it. Just pay attention to every sign, every piece of information in the background, and remember, sometimes parts of the stories for an attraction are told in another attraction, like how there might be details on the Anandapur royal family in different restaurants like Yak and Yeti, rather than being put right out there for you, the audience, to see. Now, the Disney Go description reads, "Traipse down mystical trails to discover a wonderland of tigers and other wild animals." Other wild animals is pretty vague, so I do have a list here. It does say that any height and age is acceptable for this attraction. You are actually able to stay in your wheelchair or ECV for the duration of the trail. It's not like any hills or stair climbing. It's a nice little paved path. Pretty simple. Should be pretty easy on your chair. Wouldn't worry about that. However, the Disney website does state that you do not want to bring any service animals along on this attraction. This seems to be a pattern with Animal Kingdom. I'm thinking if you're somebody who does require an assistance animal, this just might not be the right park for you. I hate to say that because it's such a wonderful place and there are a lot of things you can do, but so far of the parks we've covered, this seems to be the park where most consistently they don't want you to bring your animals. Whereas in Epcot, there was a lot of, hey, just ask a cast member and we'll see if this particular animal is suitable for this attraction. In Animal Kingdom, we're running into a lot more hard nose on a lot of attractions. And I just think that that's because of the unpredictability that happens when you get two different animals in close proximity of each other. I know our local zoo here, we're allowed to bring our dogs, and they're not even assistance dogs. Like, other than sit, their training is really pretty pitiful. That was Oliver, by the way. He doesn't sit down. He just kind of collapses. I don't know why. But so we're allowed to take our dogs to our local zoo, and it does drive the animals crazy. Like, the wolves all start howling and crying when we walk by with our dogs. The lions start pacing. The tigers get very involved too. So it could just be for the well-being of the animals in the animal kingdom to not stress them with the appearance of these assistance animals too. Because I know even just moving over, they had to be very careful about which animals they put in which locations, because the presence of other animals, sounds like especially the zebras for some reason, would sometimes stress out the other animals. So you get like the zebras bullying the giraffes and the gazelles and stuff like that. So I'm just finding Animal Kingdom more and more is going to be the park where I think you're going to run into the most trouble if you do need an animal for assistance purposes. So this is going to be one that you want to do probably the most research if you're somebody that does require taking an animal with you. This is not really super on the topic for today, but just a pattern I'm noticing as we do these deep dives throughout this park. Let's see. You can get an audio description available with you, probably the same as with Epcot. You get like a little handheld thing to bring with you. It's a self-guided tour, so you do get to go through at your own pace. There are different kind of plaques with information around each of the animals' pavilions, including the tigers. Often there's a cast member who's from kind of that general vicinity of the world there as well, so that if you do have any questions that are not addressed on the information listed, you can kind of speak to that cast member and see if they might have a few more inside details for you there. So it's pretty handy. Oh, hi. It's pretty handy, speaking of animals. So it's pretty handy to have them there. And, you know, I just kind of love Disney's international cast members, too. They do have them from all over the world. And this is one of the fun things about Epcot, too, is just getting to interact with these people from all over the world, and they have such great insight. Like I said about Germany, I found out the correct way to pronounce my own last name last time I went to Disney World. So these international cast members are fantastic, especially when it comes to figuring out what life is like around these amazing creatures. Now, myself, I have to say, I was the most interested in the tigers on this particular trek. I love tigers. I think they're fascinating. They're beautiful. They're so intelligent. And I think sometimes when tigers do form a bond with human beings, it seems to be a better bond even than with with house cats. That's the word I was looking for, house. You've still got the flu, guys. Give me a break. Because I don't know, like tigers, when they do interact with people that are their people, it seems to almost be like a dog-like relationship, whereas like house cats are like, you're the person that fills their bowl. You know, that's about the depth of the relationship. So, you know, tigers and lions, I think especially too, just seem to have kind of a unique bond with people, and of course you can't get close enough to them in the animal kingdom to have like a one-on-one tete-a-tete with these tigers, but they're just fascinatingly beautiful. It amazes me that an animal that weighs as much as a tiger does can jump off from a high surface and land silently. It's amazing. It's like the first time you see an owl fly and you realize that its wings make no sound. It amazes me sometimes the power of these animals that can be practiced with absolute silence. Everybody thinks of like a lion or a tiger's roar as being frightening, but really to me, their silence is much more terrifying than any sound they could make. Tigers aside, where's my list of animals here? Here we go. We have gibbons, Eld's deer, black bucks, Komodo dragons, which you can also see on 72 Deadliest Animals. Awesome show, by the way. Malayan flying fox. Contrary to popular belief, it is not a fox. It is a big giant bat. So if you're not into bats, that might be one to go around. I kind of like them. I think they're kind of cute, but a lot of people have bat issues. There's a whole superhero based on it. So, you know. Water buffalo and over 50 species of birds. They didn't get real specific with what species of birds. I'm guessing because they didn't want to pull another "and ducks" thing on this one. I still get a kick out of the last trail that included ducks on the list, because of those exotic Florida ducks, y'all. But, yeah, so it's all different kinds of animals, and again, you get to ask lots of questions of the cast members that are there that work with these animals every single day. I have a kind of a personal story on that note. The first time we went, my littlest brother was an infant, like a baby, like just a few months old, and he was the fattest, jolliest, chubbiest, cutest little dude you've ever seen. And he was just so, like, this guy had rolls on his wrist. I mean, he was a super chubby, cute baby. And dimples, and his eyelashes went all the way up to his eyebrows. And so one of the international cast members came up to us and was so excited to see this baby. She was, "Oh, it's so cute. Is it a man?" And I just thought that was so cute, because it was her way of asking if it was a boy or a girl. And it was adorable, because they're still, they haven't been here long. So sometimes their language, their English is not perfect, but at the same time it's far better than my knowledge of any other language. So it was just really, really cute how she put it, and I don't know, to me that just stuck with me. Is it a man? And he's just like this little chubby pink ball, and I thought it was adorable. So that is not a criticism of the cast members' language skills. I just thought it was an adorable way to ask the question, and I really get a kick out of the international cast members. They're so much fun. So that is about it for the Maharajah Jungle Trek. It's really not that long. Like I said, it's short enough that if you've got your wheelchair, you can still continue going on it your own way. I highly encourage you to check it out. It is one of the highlights. It does tend to get a little more traffic than the Gorilla Falls Trail that we talked about earlier, so be prepared to see a couple more people along this trail, but it is fantastic. I think anytime you get to enjoy the company of tigers, it's a pretty good day. Sorry. If you do want to kind of support the program and help me continue breaking down all of these different Disney attractions and, your availability to them and what members of your party they might be most suitable for, definitely reach out to me at patreon.com/shiveringmouse, which is where I'm running just about everything from right now. You can catch my channel on YouTube. It's just Shivering Mouse. And of course on Facebook. And then once I'm able to get my laptop up and running again too, I will be on almost every podcast platform thanks to the Anchor app. So thank you so much for tuning in today, and have a wonderful week.